So this is a #1 Matsutake button. Today I'm in the southeast Olympic Mountains, and it is a bumper crop year for Matsutake. They've got a really powerful aroma. The Matsutake is revered the world over, especially in Japan. I'm also coming across big lobster mushrooms. These look kind of nasty, but I tell you what, they're delicious when you clean them up. What does the terrain look like? What kind of habitat do these mushrooms grow in? Let's find out on this episode of Mushroom Wonderland.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Aaron Hilliard from Mushroom Wonderland. I'm the vice president of the local Mycological Society in Kitsap County, Washington, and I've had a lifelong obsession with wild mushroom hunting. Well, I've been picking mushrooms for a long time now, and I know of a good area on the South Hood Canal. This is a beautiful area known for its amazing seafood, breathtaking views, rivers, mountains. The Olympic Peninsula is a beautiful and almost untouched place as compared to a lot of the rest of the country, and I'm fortunate enough to live here. My grandma got me into wild mushroom hunting when I was just a kid, and the first real wild mushrooms that I ever foraged on my own and discovered were at her house. I went out and I foraged some golden chanterelles, and boy, she was proud of me. Ever since that day, I've been hooked on picking mushrooms, and she would always refer to the amazing Matsutake mushroom, a really highly sought after mushroom. Back in the 1990s when I started picking mushrooms, you could get $20 or $30 a pound for these mushrooms. Today, not so much. It's not as big of a cultural thing. Plus, this year in 2023, we're having just a bumper crop of these mushrooms. So we're gonna head up into the mountains, the southeast Olympic Mountains, to discover wild Matsutake. Come with me, everybody. Hit subscribe. What do we got here? Look at this big beaut. Wow. Holy smokes. Boletus reginus, the queen bolete. Wow, what a score. Honestly, I've never even found one of these before. That thing is prime time. Right on the side of the road, so sometimes it really pays to keep your eyes out while you're driving. All right, there she is, all cleaned up. How beautiful is that? Woo-hoo! The queen bolete. It's an awesome way to start the day. So driving and looking for mushrooms while you're driving, not always a bad idea. All right, so I parked on the side of the road and I'm just running up here into the hillside, see what kind of forest we have. And I can already tell that I'm not a huge fan of this area. It's really sparse. If I went farther up there, it looks like there's more true fir, maybe way up on that hillside. But down here, it just seems to be a lot of this western red cedar, which has no mycorrhizal association with any of the fungi that I'm looking for. So wherever I see maples and I see red cedar like this, not finding a ton of mushrooms that I want to find. There ain't going to be Matsutake, there isn't going to be chanterelle or hedgehog here. There are some Doug firs around here, but not in a high enough density for me. So this is how I scout an area. I move quickly through it and I check out what kind of trees. And, you know, if it's not host to a lot of the mycorrhizal mushrooms that I want, I'm going to go hop back in the truck, head down the road, look for a more suitable forest. So people who pick mushrooms for money, they move fast and they cover a lot of ground. Can't be going all super slow, looking too closely. You got to keep moving, looking for flags, looking for signs of mushrooms that you might be after. And if you're not seeing them, you're not going to waste a ton of time stumbling around. You're just going to get moving through the woods, you know. This is Doyle, and he's out here picking Matsutake. Just ran into this guy on the trail. Look at that, beautiful. Tricoloma myriolanum. These are the western Matsutake. Very fragrant mushrooms. This one's missing the base. It might be trouble trying to sell that commercially without the entire base.
Yeah, they'll go to
But
me.
yeah, they're not trying to sell them, but
Might be an eater.
yeah, heck yeah. You like eating them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 It's nice. Look at that. What's crazy is right when I get to this corner, I smell a distinct smell of Matsutake. I've heard people say, man, right in this spot. I've heard people say they could smell the Matsutake before they could see them. And I never really believed in that, but I truly believe that now, because I just saw how many mushrooms those guys had, and I can definitely smell them right now. So we are in Matsi country up here in the mountains, around 1,600 feet or so. All right, so I've hiked up into the woods, up into the mountains here in the Olympic Mountains, Southeast Olympic Mountains. I absolutely love this area for mushroom hunting, and the air is absolutely perfumed with the smell of Matsutake right now. This area is where I cut my teeth on wild mushrooms. My grandma first showed me how to forage for golden chanterelles in forests really close to this one, and this is also where the home of a lot of Matsutake are. Commercial pickers know about this area and often will pick this area to make good money off of all the Matsutake growing out here. As you can see from our encounter with Shota and Doyle, they did really good in a small area looking for Matsutake. So out by the coast under the shore pines, and then also up here in the mountains, good places to look for Matsutake. You just have to get out here and put in the work. We're looking for flags, for mushrooms that are obvious, and then we're going to slow down once we get into an area where we're finding a lot, and look a little bit closer for the little mushrooms that might be hiding. Those are the ones that bring a lot of value on the commercial market, are the mushrooms that haven't opened all the way up yet, especially the ones that are completely enclosed still are called #1 buttons. So those are the ones that commercial pickers are really after. So we're going to go just a little farther up the main trail and look for a spot where it looks like somewhat easy access into untouched forest. I'm going to look for broken branches and things like that for where other people may have already gone off trail to look for mushrooms. And those are the areas that I'm not going to spend a lot of time in because obviously somebody else did. So we're looking for areas that may be unexplored, and that's where we're going to find our Matsutake. All right, I'm getting some elevation now. Kind of breathing a little heavy, and I saw my first flag. So we're gonna step off the main trail. Check this out. Here we go, everybody. Oh, look at this. All right here, and right there as well. They're pretty big, pretty mature guys, but there might be buttons in here. Look at this. Look at this fruiting of Matsutake. Wow. They're beautiful. Very nice. So I'm gonna probably brush these off. Wow, I see them all over right here in this vein. So check this out. Here's some. Here's some more. All right. Right here is some more. Right here is more. So we hit a huge vein of Matsis. Beautiful. What a patch. And even if they're open, they're still valuable, still great to cook with, still very aromatic, and really nice to dehydrate. These are what we're looking for. There we go. A couple of #1s. These are prime. These are prize Matsutake. One of the keys to good Matsutake picking is to keep moving pretty quick. you don't want to spend a ton of time in an area that doesn't have mushrooms. So I'm always looking for flags, and I'm just moving along, you know. How much ground can you cover in a day? And this is how people can pick 100 or 200 pounds of these mushrooms in a day. Hard to believe that somebody could actually pick 200 pounds of wild mushrooms in a day, but it happens. You know, I really enjoy Langdon Cook's book, The Mushroom Hunters. It's just absolutely captivating about how the pickers go out and pick so many of these mushrooms. And it's doable. When you get in the right habitat and you're cruising along and you're finding a lot, you can kind of start to understand how somebody might pick 100 or 200 pounds of these mushrooms in a day. But, you know, I'm sweating. Only made it like less than a mile up into the mountains, but we're already finding good mushrooms. So you don't have to go too far in the Pacific Northwest to find these. Look at these #1 buttons so that the veil is completely enclosed, no gills showing, and thick, fat little boys. There's 3 of them. So these are primo, and we're gonna keep looking for these. What an awesome hillside I found here. So if you're commercial picking Matsutake, you definitely want to clean them up. Buyers will throw in an extra quarter or 2 per pound if you give them clean mushrooms. So I clean in a radial pattern starting from the inside and work my way out, spinning around the mushroom so I'm not dragging dirt and stuff across the cap. You really just want the minimal amount of cleaning you can do, but still keep your basket clean. You don't want to rough the mushrooms up too much. This year Matsutakes are so plentiful that they're only buying them for like $6 a pound back in October. Now that they're really out, probably less, probably like $3 a pound or something like that, which is crazy. Back in the 1990s, when they were in high demand from Japan, you could sell these for, you know, $20, $30 a pound some years. So if I look right here at the hole that I dug these out of, you can see all this white thread, right? This is mycelium. This is the body of the Matsutake. I could take this chunk and potentially plant it in a different forest and grow more matsis, but this web-like mycelial structure is running all through the ground, all out here in the hillsides. So everywhere is potential Matsutake. I think we could pull just hundreds of pounds off this hillside. And you can see the mycelium, how it just runs through the soil, grabbing onto sticks and all kinds of stuff along the way. So this is the actual vegetative part of the mushroom, and all we're finding here are the fruiting bodies of the mushroom. So the fungus lives on underground, and sometimes these little shrumps will fool you, but they're so plentiful right now I don't even have to like dig around in the shrumps too much. But just know this whole hillside is covered in mycelium and potential fruiting bodies. Did not expect to see this while Matsutake picking in the middle of November, but you can't miss that bright orange color. Look at this, a beautiful lobster mushroom just randomly growing in Matsutake country way up in the hills of the Olympic Mountains. So this one, Hypomyces lactiflorum, another really highly sought after wild edible mushroom. Beautiful, very vibrant. You cannot mistake this for anything, and you can't hardly miss it when you walk by it. A beautiful, beautiful mushroom, really highly sought after edible mushroom as well. Definitely going in the basket. What the heck? Dude, we're in a lobster slash Matsutake patch. So this one obviously too old. Look how bulbous that is. Cool. And you can see the mycelium right there growing off of these lobsters. So wow. Here as I'm coming along, Right down here in the dirt. Another lobster. How nice is that? Throw some lobsters in here with the motzies. Another lobster. Man, we are in mushroom territory. How cool. Another big lobster. So not only am I collecting Matsutake now, but I'm collecting big lobster mushrooms. How exciting. So I'll quickly describe what's going on here. This is a symbiosis between two different mushrooms. The Russula brevipees here in the west and Hypomyces lactiflorum, a parasitic fungi that grows on the host mushroom, contorts it, turns it bright orange like this, and turns it into a highly sought after edible mushroom. So these are very valuable, not quite so much as these young Matsutake, but still, these are both like chef's dreams. These are amazing, amazing wild mushrooms. So you can often find these growing right next to each other in the same patch. All right, I want to show you guys this patch of Matsutake because there's so many in this little group. I actually was stepping on some. So here's some nice, nice young ones, kind of boiling out of the soil right here. And then right up here, you can see all these pushing out of the soil. And then over here, we've got more down here, and we've got more here, and we got more here. And it looks like an animal got a hold of some. There's some more growing up here. So we are very much in beautiful Matsi country. Wow, look at these. That's amazing. So, some of these big ones like this, look at how big and mature that one is. Probably not going to take this. This is just letting off tons of spores. So beautiful mushroom. But what a flush of Matsutake right here. We're going to have to fill up one of our other bags because the basket is pretty much full. And we're going to start getting picky so I can just take these nice young buttons instead of taking these big, huge guys. But boy, there's a lot of Matsutake here. Wow, what a fantastic hillside we found. He's just boiling out of the ground. More down here. Boy, hit it big today. So I'm going to give you a really big hint. Where I really seem to find a lot of Matsutake is where the water seems to drain down the hills. And it's kind of rocky and sandy and sort of the ravines. As I'm walking just alongside the trail, look at this. This is a big fruiting of Matsutake. As I look farther up, I see a whole another bunch of them right up here. So, score. These are the areas that I'm looking at. They're going to be kind of gravelly, and this is where the water drains down the hill. And maybe it carries spores, but look at how many are right here grouped together. And you can see the top of the caps have that kind of that look to them. And unfortunately, these were all buttons just recently, but they're a little bit mature now and very dirty. But I see more popping up. Oh, I see them everywhere right here. So there's no doubt buttons in here. I'm not going to fuss with these big ones too much. I'm not going to be able to carry these all out, so I can just start being picky and just go for the buttons. But yeah, another awesome spot. See right in here, a bunch of buttons hiding down in there. So these big ones are flags, and the small ones, are what you're after. Whoa, they're just boiling out of the ground up here and over here. Oh my gosh. These are what we're after. So I can see them right there. Look at this big cluster of them. It's really hard to film and do this all at the same time. Here's a large cluster of Matsutake. Look at that. So this is what you're dealing with in the mountains of Washington sometimes. Look at this. They're just like fused together. Beautiful. Beautiful Matsutake, all kinds of them. Pretty muddy. Oh, there's more sprouting up right there. More sprouting up right there, and I see them all across this little hillside. All up in here. Look at this. Look at this. More and more. So I'm not just trying to brag here, trying to show you what you're capable of finding up here in the hills. Oh man, they're all over in here. So hit the mother load, I'm afraid. So I'm gonna put the camera down and get to work on some mushroom harvesting. All right, so I had to stash my net bag. It's packed full. I just stashed it behind that log. I still have my basket that's pretty full. I have one more bag with me, and I turn around and just right here on the hillside, just staring at me, is another just massive tangle of these. Look at these. It's just crazy how clustered they are and how many there are. Look at this. Gosh. A lot of mushrooms. Wow, there's more up in here. I mean, it is just a bumper crop year for these guys. Look at these. I mean, we're actually helping expose them to the wind to get some of these spores out, but this forest is just lousy with Matsutake here in the Olympic Mountains. Wow. Tricoloma miralenum. Sometimes when you get down in here, oh man, this is where you'll find your little buttons. But gosh, it's just crazy. These are good. Just a lot of them. Can't carry all these out. I'm gonna have to really start getting picky for just buttons. Scored another big fat chunky lobster, and oh, look at this. How cool is this? We have a flush of Matsutake popping up right here. Okay, Matsutake, beautiful, just within arm's reach. We have another beautiful lobster mushroom. This is fun picking, people. Oh my gosh, what an amazing year for wild mushrooms, I'm telling you. I could just stay on this hillside all day long. It's just wild how many mushrooms are out here right now. I sure hope you're taking advantage of this. See if there's any buttons under here. Oh, this one's got, it's like the mycelium is starting to consume itself. It's a little old for my liking. We're gonna leave those there. Probably just hide them a little bit. I ain't even worried about hiding them in this area. I mean, there's just so many. If you know what you're looking for, there's no shortage. So to be honest, when I'm hiking through these areas, oh geez. When I'm hiking through these areas that are really brushy, I don't seem to find them as much. Really, they seem to like the drainages. So go for the areas where the water really likes to drain. There's going to be less bushes in your way. Also makes the mushrooms easier to spot. Areas just like this. See how there's like not so much brush, because this is where the water really cascades down the hill. And it's in these little crevices, these little water paths, that I seem to do the best. All right, found a nice little log to chill on, sit and have my lunch. And you can tell I'm at elevation because here's my sandwich from the gas station, and it's expanding. It's like a balloon. One time I hiked to Camp Muir on Mount Rainier and had a sandwich like this at about 10,000 feet, and that thing was like a stick of dynamite. It was so full of pressure. But here's your proof that I'm up here in the mountains. This is a balloon. So, but man, it's beautiful out here. Oftentimes, this is what pickers will do in an area maybe where you're not supposed to be harvesting a lot of mushrooms. Some people do what they got to do. This isn't one of those areas. I'm allowed to pick here, but just didn't want to tote these around with me. But look at that bag of mushrooms. I'm going to try to make room in my backpack for these. That's crazy. Crazy big bag of Matsutake. I've had a blast out here today hunting mushrooms, showing you the habitat, scaling all over these steep hillsides here, and collecting these beautiful mushrooms, Matsutake, lobster mushroom, tons of matsis. So I will see you. So I'll see you somewhere down the mushroom trail. And until the next episode, much love, everybody. Peace out.